Next, what I want to talk about is something we haven't really talked about much on the show, but I've got
good old baseball.
Baseball. I heard Dan Lebitard on ESPN, and he was talking about something, and it struck a chord with me. Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. I know he took steroids. Obviously, he took steroids. Did they officially catch him taking steroids? No. Was he charged?
If they can catch him.
No. But can you tell a pitcher that his head is twice as big? Yes, you can tell he took steroids. But here's the thing, and this is what I really struggle with: hypocrisy. I think people need to take the plank out of their own eye before they remove the speck out of someone else's eye. This is what the MLB did. They were dying. They were really struggling. And then you have a few players coming, and there started, Sosa, McGuire, and they were hitting home runs. And all of a sudden, fans started coming back, and they start promoting it. Everybody knew they were doing roids. Everybody, even though they said no, they didn't do it. Everybody knew it. The Major League Baseball was saying, great, we're being saved by these people. They made money. They promoted it, and they did all this. It's utter hypocrisy. And then Barry Bonds comes in, and he does roids. Absolutely, like a lot of players did. I'm not justifying it. I don't like cheating. I don't like it. I'm not trying to justify it. But the moral police out there are the people that really just didn't like Barry Bonds. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that are voting him out. The craziest stat, okay, is this. Barry Bonds, he had almost 3,000 hits, which there's some players that do it, but that's a lot. 762 home runs. He walked 2,550 times, They intentionally walked him all the time. I watched in a game where it was the bases loaded. 2-run game. They intentionally walked Barry Bonds. The Giants are down 2, and they intentionally walked him. The guy was insane. Here's his stats, okay? If you take out Barry Bonds, 7 MVPs. He got 7. If you take all the stats away from 7 MVPs, he has 440 home runs and 359 stolen bases. Do you know how many people have done that in the Major League Baseball history? 0. If you take 7 seasons away, he's done something nobody's done. And then they're sitting there, and here they profit off it. They know it. It saved baseball. And then they're like, oh, we're just ashamed by this. And then they take it away. I think it's a shame to not have a Michael Jordan. Would be a shame in basketball to not have him in the NBA Hall of Fame. I know I've heard people about LeBron James. Is he taking some, enhancements to keep his age? There's been rumors about that for a long time. I'm not saying he is. There's been rumors about it for a long time. I don't. If you don't have proof, we can't accuse people and make our moral decisions based on what we feel or what we think, even if we have really good feelings on it. To not have a LeBron James would be terrible. To not have Michael Jordan because he had a gambling problem and did he gamble on games would be a shame. To have somebody who's the home run leader, he has 400 more times he's been walked than the second highest person in like 120 whatever seasons of Major League Baseball. He has 7 MVPs. You get rid of all of those steroid errors. You take the whole steroids era, say he has 0 stats, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And he's not in the Hall of Fame. I think it's insane that he's not in the Hall of Fame. And I think 2026 is the last time, and this is actually people that hate him, that didn't like him, because Barry Bonds was a putz with the media, and they're the ones that are voting, and they're keeping him out. And I think it's a shame.
Yeah. He's got a little bit of the T.O. syndrome, too.
He does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which T.O.'s gone through his own situation with that. I mean,
put Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame. I know. It's because of feelings. Their feelings were hurt. It's because it's not morality. Because the same people that are claiming morality or cheating, the same people saying it, promoted it. Yeah. If you make money off of it and you're promoting it and you know they're doing it, and then when people after he retires and you make all this money say, what a shame that he did it. I agree. I would say take away his stats and does he still make it? I say put him in. Otherwise it's a joke Hall of Fame.
I don't know if they necessarily knew he was doing it, only because at the time there wasn't a lot of knowledge on PEDs just in general. And so to point it out and like now we can obviously see it because we know. We've seen it all the time. We know the effects. At the time, it was a pretty new thing. And I think the problem is if they let him in, they have to let like a lot of other people in. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things where like, yeah, it sucks. But if
but they also don't have any proof.
He never was charged. And I think it's one of those things everybody knows he did. He wasn't charged with it. So how do you do it? And then I'll go the flip side of that because I hear what that argument is. I do get it. Then you got to put Sosa, and then you got to put Mark Moyer, and you got to put Clemens in, and all that kind of stuff. I totally get that. But the flip argument is, what about the players that did make it during that era? We don't know if they did steroids. Almost everybody did. A lot of people did. So where do you hold this? All they're doing is they are deciding. I think Bob did it, but not John.
That's like going back and testing the Chicago Bulls for which ones did cocaine.
You're right.
Half the NBA was doing cocaine.
They did. That is true. Early 80s, all of the time. It was all the time.
Actually, it's probably more than half. It's probably 80%.
And they had a huge problem a lot of the Steelers and a lot of the players back in the late 70s were taking illegal drugs to help them get going. I just think it's a sham. I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame too. I think the best players should be there. It is not a moral Hall of Fame. It is who are the best players. And when you don't have the home run champion, 7-time MVP, the guy did everything. Why you don't have him in? I think it's a shame. No sense. And if you were consistent, I would say something different, but they're not consistent. They made money. It saved the league. They promoted it. They knew it. And then they all of a sudden went, oh, man, yeah, that's terrible. I think it's fake.